Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, my name is Syafira Mulya Tuahna from 3BB class. Now, I'd like to review the journal article titled Development Strategy of Matalafang Traditional Village as a Cultural Tourism Destination. Okay, the author of this journal article, they are Yuda Eka Nugraha and Emi Clarita Lema from Politeknik Negeri Kupang. This journal article is from Journal of Indonesian Tourism, Hospitality and Recreation. The volume of this journal is 4. And the issues number is 1. And for the publication year, it publication at 2021. Okay, we go to the introduction part. So, Matalafang Traditional Village is one of the tourist destination where the Awi tribes live. The Awi tribes, as one of the largest tribes who inhabit Nusa Canary Island, has various cultural potential tourism to be developed. So, the Alor Regency in East Nusa Tenggara Province is well known as Nusa Canary Island and Seribu Moko Island. Some people call it Taramiti Timonuku as an unifying motto for the people of Alor. Next, cultural potential is fully managed by the cooperation of various parties, namely the Alor district government. So, they took care of the cultural potential in this district. Next, traditional village community have a cultural potential by making a customary ritual of opening land known to the people of the Matafalang traditional village called Balai Hatel and Lego-Lego dance as an attraction that is often presented to tourists who come. So that two attraction is the most wanted attraction that must be performed so that it can take attention from the tourists. And next, tourist visit for the last 3 years have increased steadily due to promotional efforts from the government, but the participation of local residents in tourism is still very minimal. So it's generally happen to a small village or a village that far from the capital city. So yes, we need to improve the local participation through the activity of develop the tourism attraction. Okay, we go to literature review. For tourism development, there are some of definition regarding tourism development in this research. It's come from Arjana. She said that tourism development must focus on developing tourist attraction, both natural tourism, cultural tourism, artificial tourism, and alternative tourism. The needs of tourists in terms of natural beauty, the needs to watch culture performance by art product as souvenirs must be planned in tourism to meet the needs of the tourists. Next, it comes from Mulyadi. He said, also the state that tourist destination must have a unique attraction to bring in tourists with 3 important aspects, namely attraction, accessibility, amenities, and additional service. Culture-based traditional village development strategies have been studied before by Kusi and Osin. Based on this research, the development of traditional village tourism must emphasize the preservation of culture, therefore, it is always original. This research is relevant considering that the location of the research in East Nusa Tenggara Province, therefore there are similarities in the characteristic of the community. However, this research is specifically carried out in Alor and presents participatory strategies for developing culture-based traditional village tourism by maximizing community participation and cultural authenticity. For the cultural tourism, we have cultural tourism is a field in tourism that is starting to get attention, especially by the government. Okay, research according to Navia 2013 state that culture tourism is a type of a tourism that makes cultural attraction the main attraction. According to Jovicic, aspect include in the attraction of cultural tourism include birth ceremonies, various traditional dance, musical instruments, and traditional music performance, wedding ceremonies, traditional clothes, various kinds of ceremonies and rituals, historical building, cultural heritage, traditional relics, traditional fabric, for example, woven fabric, cultural festival exhibition, and other traditional performance, textile products, historical museum, culture as well as the local custom that have not been mentioned. According to John Charaningrat from 2004, cultural elements consist of 7 elements, include language, knowledge system, social system of social organizations, tools of life and technology, livelihood system, religious system, and arts. Okay, we move on to research method. So, this study used a qualitative descriptive method. The data collected or divided into 2 kinds or 2 types, namely qualitative data in the form of result from interview with key information. So, the data collective the primary data is from observation, documentation, and structured interview with the informants. And the secondary data was from tourism books from the relevant district governments. Okay, next we go to the overview of the Matafalang traditional village. So, it's located at the foot of the mountain and surrounded by small hills and is a coastal area. The word Matalafang itself in the Abui language is defined as seeing eyes just cut off. And next, it has 7 traditional houses in the form of slit houses in the form of pyramids with thatched roofs which are neatly arranged and uniquely along the Matalafang traditional village. This village was founded in 1942. The original food of the Abui tribe and the Alor people is corn or chatemak and tubes. Rice is also consumed, but it's still interspersed with corn and sweet potatoes. Next, it has one unique tradition, namely the Balai Hatel ritual, or commonly the traditional house of Abui tribe in the Matalafang traditional village is simple but alluring. This traditional house is usually called a warehouse. The building is made of wood and bamboo. So, this Matalafang traditional village was originally located on a hill called Matalafang, which then in 2004 Alur experienced an earthquake. Therefore, this village was moved down to a small mosque called Latifwe. And there is a compelling reason for the relocation of this traditional village because there is a story that in ancient times people celebrate traditional parties in their ancestor from this lively traditional village chant between Lego circle and only one person could chant. Therefore, after chanting in the village of Matalafang, the singer ran again and moved to Latifoy to chant there. This is the reason why Matalafang traditional village was moved to Latifoy village. Even though it has been moved, the name of this traditional village is still Matalafang because it has been legalized by the government. Okay, we go to the main part of this journal research, the part of finding of the research. Okay, so this part is the review of the literature that I haven't read before. And from there, Matalafang community profile, the hospitality of the community and village life is an attraction for tourists. Even though they did not receive higher education, an entire Matapalang community was very fluent in Indonesian. Therefore, it did not make it difficult for tourists to communication while visiting. Yeah, even though it's located in the foot of the mountain, the study is really good so they can understand Indonesian language. Next, talk about tourism potential attraction of Matalafang traditional village. Balai Hale or entering the garden is the ritual carried out by burning a bunch of raw peeled bananas, then the sheep standing on the altar holding the raw bananas peel and the bunch. Then the sheep then use ancient poetry asking for blessings and instructions from the Creator. According to the chairman of the Matafalang village custom, Mr. Karel Malbieti, this ritual is one of the culture attraction that is always a spectacle for both domestic and foreign tourists. Next, has a special dance, namely the Chaka Catfish and Lego dance. The Abui tribe, which is known as the largest tribe in Alor Regency, has a distinctive dance, namely the Chaka Lele and Lego dance. These two dances have also become the typical dance of Alor Regency. Next, traditional four-story house. The Matalafang has 7 traditional houses. These houses is in the shape of stilt and it from the pyramid with thatched roof with 4 support poles and has 4 levels with different function. The first floor is a place to rest or receive guests. The second floor is used for cooking and sleeping at night. The third floor is for storing food, and the fourth floor is for storing heirlooms or belongings. Even though the building is made of wood and bamboo, this traditional house can be last for decades. Okay, next we talk about the strange. Okay, the first one, the Matalafang traditional village, has an original and unique culture tourism attraction. The potential for cultural tourism in the Matalafang traditional village has an authenticity and cultural attachment that is still maintained today, such as the traditional ritual of opening new lands, or we known as Balai Hotel, the Chaka Lele dance, and Lego as an unifying dance for the Alor community, and a traditional 4-story house. Next, the destination has a tourist awareness group that is active in praising the dance culture of the Matalafang traditional village. So, this is examples of cultural preservation effort that have been carried out by the Matalafang traditional village tourism awareness group are dance competitions and training in traditional Chaka catfish and Lego dance for kindergarten to high school children on our island. This step is to preserve the dance, therefore, it will continue into the future. Next, local people are very friendly to visiting tourism. Okay, their hospitality is shown through welcoming the local community to every visiting tourist by giving a sincere smile as a sign of welcoming and continued by giving betel nut and coffee. This is not required for tourists, but they still do it because it is a habit of the Abui people who have been practiced by generation. Next, the tourist destination has a variety of the local handcrafts as amenities for the Matavalang traditional village. Well, the community has so far received training on how to come up with the unique ideas for creating an artificial handcraft using natural materials. Form of the Matalafang community, such as making necklace, bracelet, betel nuts, betel cups, basket, weaving, and so on, which is one of attraction of this village. And last, the distance between the city centers and tourist destination can be reached quickly in less than 30 minutes. Okay, now we talk about the weakness. The first weakness is the weak quality of human resources makes service to the guests less than optimal. During this research, the tourism actors in the Matalafang traditional village were only the same actors. So the community has not actively participated, for example, by providing foods and drinks, serving as local tourist guide, and renting or weaving a toilet. The community has not prioritized tourism as their main field and has chosen to be spectators only. Next, the lack of facilities and infrastructure to support tourism activities. Well, even though there's a simple parking area, homestay, toilets, and various supporting facilities that already exist, the condition of Matalafang village is still lack many facilities. And the reason why the community does not participate in providing tourism support facilities is because of the limited economy. And the last one, at some points, the road access is rocky and not good. Well, the roads are very important part of the infrastructure to support tourism activities. Even though for the last 3 years it has received tourist visits, well, the road access never get attention, so tourists who come must be extra intent. Here I provide the table of strength and weakness of Matalafang traditional village. That data from the interviews are quantified based on the result of interview with informants. The total IFAS score obtained is 3.3158, which is in quadrant 1, which is strong. Okay, next we go to the external factors, opportunities and threats. For first, the opportunities. First one, a massive promotion of tourism by the central and local government. So the entity provincial government has made tourism one of its leading work programs through the tailoring of beauty entity, new tourism priority, and various activities that support the development of tourism activities in entity. The central government has also set one of the destination in entity, namely Labuan Bajo, as a premium destination in there. So So destination, the existence of the Matalafang traditional village is one of the attractions of cultural tourism that's over tourist of authenticity of dance, traditional rituals, ceremonies, and sensation of traditional experience that do not exist everywhere. Anywhere else show that the development of cultural tourism destination has a large market opportunity. The second one is the interest of the local community, namely the young generation, is high to preserve traditional alor dance. And the last, local people who begin to understand the use of technology and information. The existence of cooperation between the management and the government, private parties, or social institutions engaged in tourism can guide and direct the development of Matalafang traditional village to be more ready and to complement existing definitions. Therefore, it can provide progress for the Matalafang traditional village. Okay, so here are the traits. First one, tourists for the community is still underestimated. Not many have fully participated in the tourism activity. And next, the competition with two formerly famous traditional villages. The Matalafang traditional village stands between two traditional villages that were already known earlier, namely Takpala traditional village and the Bangtawa traditional village, where these three traditional villages offer cultural tourism. Facing this, the Matalafang traditional village must have its own characteristic that differentiates between the existing traditional village near them. Okay, here the external factors, opportunity, and traits of Matalafang traditional village. So here's the table of the result of EFAS processing obtained from the 6K informants of the study. Data from interviews are quantified based on the result of interviews with informants. The total EFAS score obtained is 3.2, which is in quadrant 1, which is strong. Okay, based from the two previous table, here the total table. So, as we can see, the strategy of developing Matalafang traditional village as a cultural tourism destination is in quadrant 1, which is focus on vertical integration, namely strengthening public education to consider the tourism as one of the sectors that bring goodness when developed as well as increasing product diversification. Therefore, the traditional village Matalafang has a unique identifier that distinguishes the two traditional villages that were well known before. In addition, Matalafang traditional village has potential to grow into a destination tourism culture which pay attention to several strategies as follows. Okay, in addition, the Matalafang traditional village has high potential to grow into a destination tourism culture with pay attention to several strategies. So here we go to the strategy. The first strategy for implementing MICE-based activities and making tour packages. Making cultural tourism packages, therefore, they can increase visitors, increase the role of local communities to continue to love and maintaining the natural beauty of the surrounding. Therefore, it remains natural to be introduced along with the current technological development and improve human research, and still maintain the attitude of community harmony. Next strategy is strategy for procurement of training for tourism human research and repair of infrastructure in Matalafang traditional village. So, improving access routes so as to make it easier for the community to carry out tourism activities, increase human research, and utilize technology and information to introduce the tourism potential they have. Next, Strategies to maintain tradition through the present preservation of traditional dance and ritual characters to the young generation of Matalafang traditional village. And the last, strategy to encourage innovation and creativity of traditional village communities. Increase and strengthen increase human research in order to continue to love and preserve local culture. Increase human research to generate new ideas in creating creativity so as to improve the community economy. Okay, next, the conclusion of the study is the potential of culture tourism in the Matafalang Alor traditional village consists of various types, namely traditional dance, traditional houses, traditional ceremonies and ritual, local language, religious system, and various traditional tools found during this research. Even though it has diverse cultural tourism potential, the Matalafang traditional village requires intervention from various parties, especially in relation to increasing education and participation of local human research. Next, for the recommendation for research, increasing community involvement in community-based tourism development with tourism awareness education to make Matafalang traditional village ready and independent as a cultural tourism destination. Okay, that's all my journal article review. Thank you for the attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.